Thank you for joining us for Playbook Podcast number 4. Today we've got the CEO of the largest IMO in the entire country, Shawn Meaike. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good, dude. The fourth one, I'm hitting cleanup. That's a power spot in baseball, so
Oh
I'm,
yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
Grand Slam time.
Grand Slam time. There you go.
First time in Philly?
No, man, I've been in Philly a lot. I'm from Connecticut, so I spent a lot of time in Philly back in the day. When I got life insurance, weirdly enough, I was trying to build my business
Uh-huh.
in Philly, Baltimore, which was Linthicum, Boston, Mass, and Providence, Rhode Island. So I was doing meetings there every single week. So I was here all the time.
Hop around.
Where the hell was it? Where are we? What part of Philly are we in right now?
Um, Far North Philly, you could say.
God,
Suburbs.
is there Ben Salem around here?
Yeah, we're right 15 minutes out.
Okay, that's where I used to go all the
Yeah,
time.
okay,
Yep.
perfect. So obviously you're in town for the grand opening. At this point, how does it feel like to see your vision continue to grow through the success of the company, tens of years later?
It's pretty surreal. I think when people use that word, it sometimes you don't really. When I say surreal, I mean I can remember back to the day we opened the company.
Hmm.
I can remember back to my office in my how many square feet you got here?
10,000
Okay,
total.
my corporate office when we opened the company was 1,400 square feet. You know, boxes and boxes. My office wasn't this big.
Yeah.
Boxes everywhere, paper applications, and wondering, can we even do it? So to look at, and I always knew, and all I ever promised Mike Size or anybody in the office was, guys, we're either going to build the biggest life insurance distribution in the history of America, which to them was like, yeah, whatever, just pay us our paycheck, or we're going to go down in a ball of flames. But it's going to be a great story either way. So yeah, it's amazing. But Ronnie, it's amazing to see people like you build businesses quicker. Like, how long you been with Family First Life?
This is my second full-time year.
Second full time. How much volume did you do your first year?
6 million.
Okay, FFL did 11 million its first year.
Yeah. You want
Which-
to hear something crazy?
What?
We did 6 million last quarter.
Yeah. So you'll end up doing more your second year than the entire company did its second year.
Which is absolutely insane. Did you ever expect for us to get this big? Now looking back, was this a part of the dream or?
The dream was letting men and women do so well that we all could reap in it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like that people would do so much volume that you'd be like, man, they don't have the expenses we have. They can actually make more money than the company. You know, and I think that's a good bit. I know people that depend. You might go, well, my uncle's the CEO of this company, and he says that can't happen. I'm like, dude, in our world it can. Actually, I think that's the reason we've been able to scale it. Because once we started, it was like it became addictive. Like, wait a minute, that guy wasn't making any money. Now he just made X amount of dollars. Like, it became so addictive for what people could do. You know, and but if you ask me, I was saying we were going to be a $1 billion company the first year. We'd do $1 billion a year within 10 years. And if you asked me if I believed that, I wouldn't have bet. Like, I wouldn't have been like, well, you know what? I'm going to bet my life savings on it. I'm going to bet. I wanted it.
Yeah.
But now to be as close as we are, it's like, damn, we're going to do that. And nobody's ever thought about doing it.
And that's the biggest thing that I learned from being around you so much is that self-belief level as an entrepreneur is like it's important to the growth of the company or the growth of the person. So how important was that you early on, like saying that we're $1 billion company the first year when we're putting how much up? 6 million?
Yeah, it was critical, Ronnie, because I realized a lot of people didn't have belief in themselves. So my belief level had to be so crazy because I knew I was trying to bring people with me. You know, I think that when you start this business, you had already been in business.
Yeah.
You understood business and you believed in you.
Yeah.
And you worked really hard in the restaurant business, which is a brutal business.
Yeah.
And you worked hard in it. So you had self-belief. So for you, all the people around you, whether you knew it or not, were already gravitating before you opened your mouth because they're like, he believes in himself. And I think that you can't fake that, and I don't think it's about what people always say to me is, they say, well, how are you able to do that? Like, what if something happens? And it's like if we're out somewhere, Ronnie, and somebody does something I don't like, or somebody does something to one of my friends, or you and your wife are in there and the dude says something and you go to the bathroom is disrespectful. I'm not unafraid to fight the guy because no matter what I'm going to win. Yeah. I'm unafraid to fight the guy because the right thing's the right thing. And dude, I've gotten my ass kicked before. So if he's like some UFC guy with cauliflower ears that I didn't see in the dark and he gets the bat and smokes me, my point was I took the same attitude in business. If right is right and I work hard at it and I get knocked down, I'll just get back up. And a lot of the people around me, because they were so used to getting knocked down and staying down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're not even really down. You got knocked, you got wobbled a little bit, and you sat down. I can tell you in business, it's brutally crucial. And I think also you can't have that belief level, and you can't instill it in other people unless you built yours. You're building your business. So everything that all the men and women outside this door are going through, you've gone through it.
Yeah.
So you're battle tested. I think the struggle is when people join businesses. That's what I always say to management teams. If I'm talking to them, I'm talking to other business, they're not in life insurance. And I'm like, guys, you understand? You placed this guy into an executive level position, and all of your execs have never done what any of these. Like at some point in time, you got to promote from within, where somebody's like, hey man, I've been through that.
Yeah.
Like in life insurance sales, if you work at an IMO, I tell people this all the time. If you work at an IMO, and the guy in charge has never sold life insurance, you should quit. He doesn't know. There's no, and I'm, as far as I know, of all the real IMOs, not like everybody's like, I got an IMO. Like, I mean, the ones that you would consider big, none of those guys ever sold any insurance.
And that's
Ever.
the thing. You can't teach somebody to do something if you haven't done it before. And I like what you said about being battle tested, because I remember early on with, me being with the company, I was talking to you about how big of a struggle was to crack the first $300,000 month as a team.
Yeah.
And now that I look back at it, like I was sharing the story with some of my guys earlier, getting to $300,000 a month was 20 times harder than going from 1 to 2 million a month in one quarter.
Correct.
Why is business so hard in the beginning? And like, the thing is, most people can't handle that storm in the beginning. You looking back in those early days, I remember the first 3 years, you saying, the $70,000 line. Like, how does it feel starting that business early on?
It's funny because when you're in a duplicatable business, it's common sense to say, you know what? Once you get it running, and once you have a few of the right people around you, the sky's the limit. And I would tell people all the time, going from 0 to 150 is gonna be the hardest. And people are like, there's no way it's the hardest. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's the hardest. Now numbers here probably twice as large as the old company. It's probably 0 to 300, but it's a matter of once you have a few people around you, and you're in a business that's completely, because it's all supply and demand. Like any business you look at, what is the supply and demand? I've seen some amazing businesses that were short term. There just wasn't enough demand. Like I thought it was like a really good product or a good business. I'm like, but dude, the demand's just not there, and you can't even get the lead gen. So I don't even know how you'd get to any of the people, right? So for you, what you did was you built a great core, you built a great foundation, you found the right people, and then you're like, God, look at this. Now the business is working. You're not working against it. Early on, you feel like you're the only one working. So every problem's yours. Every setback is yours. Every financial issue is yours. When you have a team, it's spread out. Okay, so guess what? On Monday, this guy's business is cranking, but that dude's down. Okay, maybe yours is down. Maybe you're like my personal recruiting, but that guy's cranking. And all of a sudden, you have so many different people around you. And to your point about weathering the storm, what I will tell you is, I wish people knew how good it is on the other side of the storm.
Man,
that's the thing for me. I just wish that you could like go, dude, just close your eyes for a minute.
Yeah.
This sucks right now. I get it. I'm going to bring you over here, and I want you to see it post storm. Yeah. And if they could, then they would weather it, because it's really not even that bad, but they can't see it. They're in it. And how many people up and quit on themselves?
I've seen so many. That's the thing. And like I was talking to somebody that, messaged me on Instagram, not on my team. I was like, you know what? Like I remember being there, so I was like, hey man, like close your eyes, picture yourself bulletproof, your family, your life, the people around you, because that's what it is. But most people, they can't make it past that 2 or 3 month hump, of where stuff is hard, and you're getting ready to get to the next level when you have that feeling. You remember that feeling?
Dude, my when I was like probably 8 or 9, my mother, single mom, shitty jobs, broke, she got a real estate license. And I can remember my little apartment. I can remember my mom sitting down at a little dining room table. I mean, tiny ass little apartment, you know what I mean? And I can remember my mom sitting at the dining room table, and she was dressed up. I can remember what her dress looked like, and she was really excited about becoming a real estate agent. And she's smart, so I didn't know anything about what she was doing, but she got her license, and she was going on some showing. I remember saying she's going on these showing appointments. Yeah. Well, a month later, the same lady's sitting at the same table, not dressed up, with tears in her eyes, because she decided that it won't work. And she went into talking about why business is so hard. And she had a friend of hers who was not very nice, our neighbor, who was always telling her what she couldn't do. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know what she's doing, but I'm never going to give up on myself like that. Like, she's a great lady, and I'm not going to give up myself, and I'm going to take care of her because of what she's done for me. I'm like, one more. So, dude, I don't really, I got to be honest with you. Early on, I always knew, I always had this, what do I have to lose mentality. Yeah. That was always my thing. Like, in this business, you don't bring in a ton of capital. So it'd be different if I was like, hey, Ronnie, you got to throw $1 million in. Well, now we better have some pretty serious conversations. Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, you have to come and go to work. You're like, really? Yeah, you just have to come and go to work and buy yourself leads, $1,000. Like, so I buy myself leads and make a sale, get my money back. Yeah, Ronnie, like, you don't have to do. So I think I didn't, only because I had really good perspective early on, and those gifts that were given to me as a child, watching my mom struggle, nobody can replicate that. And you know, it's weird now as I get older. Like, I got really mad at my father for a long time. Mm-hmm. Really mad at him, you know. But now in hindsight, I'm like, he let me become a man. Like, they weren't together. There's things I wish he had done for my mother. That's it. But, dude, nobody came to save me. Like, it was just me. So as I was moving through my jobs and building companies and all of that, there was nowhere to look and save me. Matter of fact, I had gotten in business with a friend of his. Yeah. In the construction business. A friend of his. They're like boys. Yeah. And I remember the guy was doing some stupid shit. And I wasn't close to my dad at that time. I'm pretty close to him now, thankfully. And I remember saying, yo, like, your buddy did all this shit. And he's like, ain't my problem. I'm like, bro, I'm thinking I'm 19 years old, man. Like, I decided to get in business. Not my problem, man. Figure that shit out. But those were gifts for me. So why I say that is, in this business, the more you're left to your own devices to figure some shit out, they're gifts. They're gifts for you. You just have to capitalize on them.
It's amazing to see, like, you had all of the odds stacked against you. Essentially, most people, like, it would be like a lottery pick if they were to get to the level you're at with the background that you had. Was there somebody early on, like a mentor, or was it a coach that stuck out to you? Or,
well, you know, dude, they were all coaches. You know, I had a coach named John Ellis when I was 17, because I didn't really listen to people for a while. I was just an angry young kid, and he was very wealthy. He passed a few years ago. Coached me for one summer. Played professional baseball for years. He was a hardcore dude. And I remember watching him in business, and I said, hey, coach, can I work for you when the year's over? Mm-hmm. And he didn't like it. Like, he didn't like soft P. He was like, a lot of these people are soft. And he said, show up at Highland Park at 5 o'clock or whatever. And I worked for him. I worked for the company. It wasn't like I saw him every day. But I watched a lot of what he did. And I emulated a lot of what he did. And I looked up to the way he was as a businessman. And I had other coaches along the way. And then once I got into business, I sought out business leaders. But what you just said, Ronnie, I think what we have to understand is, I actually think you had it tougher than me. Mm-hmm. Because your mom and dad together? Yep. Raised in a good family? Yep. Healthy environment?
Yes.
I actually think that it's funny. I don't want to say respect, but I have immense respect, but I have immense perspective on, you didn't have the struggles I had. Mm-hmm. You went and created your own struggles, but you didn't have them. Yeah. And so I think a lot of the folks out there, they had my struggles. Maybe not to that extent, but they had a lot of struggles. And they think like, well, because of my background, I can't. See, people with a certain background you breed life. I do it to my kids, breed life in it. They can be great. They will be great. They're built for greatness, all that. And they have healthy self-image. But a lot of times, you know, you have to understand that you went out and made your own way. So I think all of us, it would be a lottery ticket if it was a talent. You know what I mean? Like, getting drafted in the NFL is like pulling a lottery ticket. You got to have an unbelievable talent, health, luck, mindset, right? Opportunity. But in business, and especially in a lead-based business, anybody can have the result. And I think that's what's beautiful about it.
That was beautiful, yeah. And then the breathing life part, just like you said, like, looking back at that, like, that's all I ever needed. I needed Zach Twardowski to tell me I believe in you, or on a bad day, hey, I've got you. Now, I get so many questions from people. They're like, hey, man, like, why is Shawn still doing this at, like, our conventions? Like, why is he still the face of it? Like, most people, like, that's it. Like, after 5 years, business established, I'm taking the back seat. But you continue to do what you do. Why?
Number one, I love it. So I'm not going to stop doing something I love. Number two, I see that nobody else does. And I think that I'm not a guy that can be involved and try to push and challenge people to work hard if I don't work hard. I just not wired that way. I don't know how to do that. So it's like I don't. If you were to call me and be like, man, and I'm like, well, Ronnie, you're not doing this and this and this. I can't do that if I'm not working. I'm just not built that way. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not working. Like, and also, I got a mentor of mine, a very successful businessman, said, it's the work that validates your self-image, not the result. And I've never forgotten that. It's like, so you got to understand you always need to be doing something to whatever that happens to be. It doesn't mean you have to do this forever. But, dude, I love it. And also, I tell people all the time, the minute I'm not good at it, I'll be out. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. But if
You're pretty damn good at it.
So, like, for me, it's like I'm going to keep doing it because I'm having the right result. But, dude, I love it. And it's the new people, watch them have success. And really, I can sum it up with there's too many people that haven't gotten theirs yet.
Yeah.
And I got your guy out there, Mohammed, talking to a group of people, and I'm like, I just look at them and look at him, and I'm like, I want y'all to have his result. And like it's on my mind. The 10 of you need to have his result. How do we get you that result? I'm so laser focused on that.
Isn't that insane, that the opportunity you created looking back? Like, that's an individual that has been in the country for less than 2 years. He had to Google Translate the script and made $40,000 last month.
Dude, I was in a meeting probably 4 years ago. Kid stands up, speaks no English, very broken, and somebody's translating for him. Mm-hmm. And I said, Javier, how much did you sell last month? And through this translation, it's like 70 grand. So I'm like, well, how did you get trained? Because a lot of people around you speak English. And he said, I watched a video on YouTube. And I was like, okay, it must be one of the good Spanish-speaking agents that trained him. He said it was Easton Patton.
Wow.
I said, Easton doesn't speak Spanish. He goes, no, I watched a video on Google Translate. I just did. And I'm like, it really blew me away to go, like, literally, we've created something that anybody can come in. There's really no barrier. And, like, what would Mohammed be doing if he wasn't working here? I don't know the answer to that. But he wouldn't be making this kind of money, most likely.
Which is amazing to see, honestly, just like what the business has done for so many people. Like, it's just insane. Now, you told me something the other day on Zoom that helped me realize why I was the way that I was. And you said people that produce, succeed, and impact at a high level, they don't get addicted to the money, they get addicted to the results.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been so big for the growth of our company as a whole, and just, passing that echo down to our leaders?
I think if you're only money focused, first of all, I'm not money focused. I'm just being honest. I think most of us live better once you start making any. I mean, dude, when I was living in my house on Nico Street, my rent was $850. I had a car, my Honda Accord, and honestly, dude, like I was probably still living better than like. So I've just had a lot of perspective, and I think it was the way I was raised. Number one, number two, from a monetary standpoint, when agents come in and the only focus is their bank account, the minute they make enough money to breathe, they stop. And then if their back's against the wall, they either panic and shut down, or they really come out swinging and fighting. When you get addicted to the results of it, and it's not the result, it's the results for other people.
Yeah.
When you're addicted to the results for other people, see, that's the thing. I'm addicted to results in general, but I'm addicted to the results for everybody else. That group out there Muhammad's talking to, I'm addicted to. I want them to have results. So how can I get them to have? Okay, got it. He's talking. Let me get them over. I come over to stop. What do you stop for, Muhammad? Keep talking. I'm just over here listening. Keep talking and instilling them what you're doing, because whatever you're doing, they can do the exact same thing. It's completely duplicatable. But let's be addicted to. And the minute you're addicted to other people winning, the sky's the limit. You'll build something nobody ever built. I mean, the thing is, no matter what happens, nobody's ever going to help as many people make as much money as we have here, and nobody's going to put as much life insurance in place in the middle American market ever.
I don't think so. How many seven-figure earners have you created?
Man, at least 75 or 80, and that's crazy. And then if you take 500 above, it's thousands. That's crazy. It's
unheard of. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you getting on with us. Appreciate you being in the house today, and I promise you that we're going to continue to build this thing even better and stronger than ever. And we've got your back always.
I got no doubt. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for getting on. See y'all. Thank you, guys.